And at the absence of Christy, we have John, who's going to fill in as our chair.
So, if we could get this meeting started, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
And we're going to make a little change to the agenda. It's going to go Palace Transit contracts, and then we're going to skip down to number 3, Palace Transit boundaries, and then Palace Transit Sunday operations, and then we're going to move number 2 down to Palace Transit handbook after Sunday operations.
So with that in mind,
I would move acceptance of the agenda.
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. First item, the Palace Transit contracts.
So we only have one update. You approved the contracts last month, but we do have a change to the rec center agreement that we had last month. We had it as the $2 per trip because we thought it was going to be one person at a time type deal, but they are transporting multiple people at the same time. So we're doing it the same as what we do for group contracts.
Yeah.
So it's just an update to the contract we approved last month for more groups instead of the $2 per ride.
And do we need a motion to approve that? Please, someone, motion?
I would move acceptance of that contract.
I'll second.
And all in favor of that?
Aye.
Super, passed. Number 2 item is Palace Transit boundaries.
So in your packet, after the handbook, there's a couple maps. Currently, right now, our boundaries on this map right here show, the dots show where our boundaries are at. They've been set this way for years, since before I came, and I've been here, it'll be 9 years in August. They set these boundaries because of mileage. It's hard to drive out there to these outlying locations. It has been a feeling that since, because taxpayers pay for this service, city taxpayers, since this is a city program, to change the Palace Transit boundaries to city limits. So they're not getting mileage if it's not in city, or if they're in city limits. And that's the second map attached, which includes the red line is city boundaries, which is a little confusing, but they know if they're a taxpayer or not, and we can find it on the map if they're a taxpayer or not. So that is a suggestion, recommendation to the board to update our boundaries. You can have discussion if you think we should keep it at our current boundaries, or if you think we should go with the city residents.
I so move that we go with city.
I'd second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the boundaries for our service to include the city limits. Anybody in the city limits are covered, if you will.
At the $2 per ride, there's no mileage.
Yeah.
So, we
So
have,
that would just say.
But rides would be available.
Rides are still available.
With mileage being included.
Correct. So we still provide rides to Davison County residents, so even out of town, as long as they're in Davison County, but it would be at the mileage. We just wouldn't charge mileage to our city residents, our city tax-paying residents who pay for the service anyway.
That only makes, it totally makes sense
Yeah.
that that's the way it should be, yeah.
any other discussion? With the first motion and a second, let's have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Number 3 on the agenda is the Palace Transit Sunday operations.
When COVID started, we shut down on operations on Sunday due to lack of demand. Demand is coming back by a lot of people. So I will kind of read who has requested that we operate on Sundays. We've received contacts from LifeQuest job coaches for work, employment, Career Connections for employment, Ascension Lutheran Church has called a couple times. Zion Lutheran Church has called a few times. Countryside Living, Cathedral Squares. LifeQuest is requesting church rides. Brady Assisted, there's one every other Sunday for church and lunch. We had 10 rides and standing reservations from previous Sundays before we stopped Sunday operations. And as of right now, there is no public transportation in Mitchell on Sundays. Lyft is a registered taxi, but drivers only is available as they like to be. And Easy Ride does not plan to reopen on Sundays anymore. Our needs would be one, we'd have to have a driver or two available. So the approximate Sunday rides requested is 20 to 25. And right now, Saturdays, we're running roughly 33 rides and 100 miles with one driver. So our weekends are picking back up a lot.
You have employees?
We'd have to figure that out. We'd have to give a 2 weeks notice because of the city union contract to set schedules up. So it'd be at least 2 weeks from now for the schedule to set up to start Sundays again. We'd probably have to start, I'm guessing, July 1st, that weekend.
You need a motion?
Actually,
Yes,
let me look at
proceed
the,
with that.
let me look at the date real quick. Oh, July 4th is a Sunday, so we probably wouldn't do it on a holiday. So we could probably start July 11th.
Okay. I would move that we would start Sunday, Palace Transit Sunday operations
I'll second that.
On July 11th, starting.
on July 11th.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Good deal. And for your information, we had an applicant come before the city council to request a taxi license this past week, which we denied. He was offering to provide service on Sunday, Mondays, some of the days that the other taxi services were taking off, but it didn't work out, so this will serve a purpose
Yeah.
that is needed, I believe.
Definitely.
Number 4 on the agenda is the Palace Transit Handbook.
We felt it was time to update the handbook again. The last time it was updated was May 9th of 2019. So we went through, and the highlighted things are the things we changed. On the first page, we added the city website and our Facebook page. And then we also, I'll have to update the date that is approved. So that's the yellow highlighting on that page. The second page is our service hours and fares. The yellow highlighting is what we are currently operating, it would need to be changed to. And then that green is, I had to wait for you guys to approve, that's why we changed the agenda, to approve that we will be operating. So I added the Sundays from 7 to 2. And then we also added the last pickup time because we get that comment a lot. Well, you say you operate till 6, yes, but our last pickup time is at 5:30 to allow us to get there and drop you off. And then also in green is a change that needs to be approved by you. That should have been yellow, I'm sorry. Children under the age of 3 may ride for free with a paying adult. The reason that has been brought to our attention is because in our handbook, if you are under the age of 3, you have to ride with a paying adult. But we've been charging the child and the parent, but the parent has to ride anyway. We do allow for people to have personal care attendants if you have a wheelchair and you need to help them on and off, and they get to ride for free. We've also had a request from the state. They contacted us and asked if that'd be a possibility because we have babies that need to get to medical appointments and parents can't. It's hard for them to pay the $2. Yeah, now they have to pay $4 each way, so it's $8. So it adds up.
Yeah.
So that was a request from the state to add the children under 3 for free with a paying adult. That would have to be a separate motion if we'd like to do that.
I would move that we make that change.
Clarify that. We'll make the change that,
Children under the age of 3 may ride for free with a paying adult.
I'll second that.
we have a motion. Any other discussion? Let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you.
The next change is the city limits, which we already approved, so I will change that wording to say city limits, city boundaries.
That's in the handbook also?
Yep.
You're talking, okay.
On page 3 is the general transit policies. Line 1, it says stay properly seated. We add and buckled. Even though it says buckled in other parts of the manual, we wanted to add it again so people know you have to stay buckled on the bus. Number 7, we added to the smoking, chewing tobacco, e-cigarettes, vaping, we added marijuana, including medical and illegal drugs are not allowed. And that's because we have the medical marijuana coming and we can't have that on public transportation according to federal regulations. And then number 11, Palace Transit is not an ambulance service and will not take passengers to the emergency room. We have people that need to go to the emergency room and they call us instead of the ambulance. And so wanted to add that.
Cheaper.
I'm sure it's cheaper. Oh my goodness, that's just not, yeah.
And especially since we can't do trips straight to a location as well. We have to be
Right.
public transportation. There could be other people on the bus. We can't do that. And then number 18 was a courtesy that we added. Please offer the seats closest to the door to the elderly and those who have a more difficult time moving about. Any questions on that page?
You had to add that, huh?
Then on page 4, we added a new section for transportation ages 3 to 18 because we do a lot of transportation for ages 3 to 18, and we thought it'd be easier to have that stick out a little bit more. And it says all passengers age 3 to 18 must have a rider registration form on file at the Palace Transit office, and that is available on our website as well. We ask that you visit with your child about our basic riding rules. Remain seated and buckled at all times. Use inside voices. Have your tokens ready for the driver on pickup. Or, I could change that to the bus driver on, it should be upon, one word there. Yep.
There's no space.
No space. No eating, drinking, or chewing gum on the bus, and no bullying. Any questions on that section? Okay. Page, are we missing page 5, or my page is not right?
It's fine.
I got 5 as
Page
one.
4, then I
Oh,
got
there's 5, okay, it's on the back side. Our no-show policy added, if no-show fees are not paid within 30 days, fare will be invoiced at $5 per ride, because we have those no-show fees, and then we would like to invoice them at a higher rate, because we're waiting for that payment. Any questions on that one?
No.
Page 6, under curb-to-curb service, the last bullet, we added, if you have your cart for groceries, you must be outside and ready. Bus operators will not go and get the cart or wait for you to retrieve the cart, because we are waiting and waiting and waiting to receive these things, and it's putting us behind. Then at the bottom of page 6, under wheelchair special services, only Palace Transit bus operators are allowed to operate the lift. We have people that are trying to be helpful, but these lifts are very expensive and we had them break. So that's why it's only the operators who are trained to operate the lifts will be allowed to operate them. Any questions? Okay. Page 7, under oxygen-dependent passengers, the last bullet for the request for special approval must be made to the transit operations supervisor. We added prior to the scheduled ride, because people think they can make the requests right when they're getting their ride, and it needs to be done prior. Questions on that one? Page 8, food and drink. We have an issue with this. We added gum is not allowed to be chewed on board the bus. No gum. And then under refusing service, we added has a contagious illness or infection that was added due to COVID. And then excessive no-shows. We have the right to refuse service for excessive no-shows. Any questions there? And that's all I have for changes.
How do you plan to notify regular riders of these changes?
We, excuse me, we have it on our update, our Facebook page. We'll put an update on that. And then we'll also put it on our website that there's updates. And then if they are, some of our regular riders, we do gentle reminders saying, here's our handbook. So we make sure that they know that way.
So the handbook is available,
On the website,
yeah, but by hand.
By hand as
A lot
well,
of
yep.
these people don't have,
and the drivers all have these extra copies on their bus.
Okay.
So if they need to hand them out, they can hand them out too.
good, okay.
Because they'll say, well, the rule is this, and like, no, there's no rule. And then the driver can hand them the handbook, say, this is the rules.
Okay,
I'd entertain a motion to approve those changes.
I so approve.
In a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor of those changes to the handbook, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you. Number 5, nutrition equipment grant.
So good news. I told you a couple meetings ago that I applied for money for kitchen equipment and building equipment. We got approved for everything. $52,000 worth of equipment.
Oh, wonderful.
$52,000. What we're most excited about is the water fountain and ice machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little things.
Oh, awesome.
The cheaper ones are the ones we're most excited about.
Are they going to replace the dishwasher then?
Yep, we're going to, the items that are currently in the kitchen, most of them are Todd's. So we wanted to put our own equipment in there because I've now learned that things can happen. What if something happens to Todd?
And Todd is our caterer.
And Todd, sorry, Todd from Big Daddy D's is our caterer. If something, God forbid, happens to him, we have no equipment because that all belongs to him. He'll still use it just like he has, but it will be his equipment, or it'll be our equipment. So if we get, something happens, we have something available.
Good idea.
Good, good, good.
How long is Todd's contract? Is that an
It's
annual-
yearly. Yep.
Annual deal? Okay. All right, any other questions or discussion on that item? The item number 6, please, the vaccine access grant. What do you know?
Okay, we were approached by the Department of Human Services, Long-Term Services and Supports. They have a COVID-19 vaccine access grant. Awards are anywhere between $1,300 to $10,000 to provide, this grant is to provide opportunity to assist senior centers, community centers with funding to provide assistance. Examples of expenditures allowed in this grant could include purchasing a laptop computer to assist with online scheduling of appointments for COVID-19 vaccinations, cost of internet or telephone service, local advertising outreach, staffing costs, general support, and more. So we had to fill out a form saying we are interested in putting in a proposal. I did that. I still need to figure out what we're going to put in for the proposal. The biggest thing, we need a new laptop, and Maria was helping people schedule their vaccines on the laptop that we have.
Okay.
So what we were told is the vaccine's good for 6 months, is that correct? And then they'll need like a booster? Does that sound right, Whitney? Okay.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
I didn't think they had decided.
So if that's the case, we will continue to help people and
Right.
sign them up, and we'll use this funding for that. If we have to do advertising for that, any of the costs related, we will put that in. So I will come to you at a future date with our ideas and our grant application. I just want to give you a heads up that I did send a letter back saying I intend to apply,
Sure.
because I'd rather intend to apply than not, because that's how I operate.
Super. As there is no citizens here, There will be no citizens' input. Unless somebody gets a call real fast. Number 8, department reports, please.
So the first one is Palace Transit, and attaches that report. Ridership's been going good. We did not get Kids Club back that we had last summer, so we might see a decline in ridership because we don't have Kids Club. But the Lutheran preschool and Mitchell Christian are doing a lot of field trips this year, and we're doing a lot of their transportation this summer, which is nice.
Very good.
And our summer bus pass, I believe we sold, is it 10 of them?
I think it's actually maybe a little more.
More, yeah. Last year we sold 2, and one was to my family. So we're doing good on our summer bus pass program.
Moving to the volunteer program.
In your packets, just kind of a little update where we're at for the number of volunteers, our stations. And like I said before, it has started to pick up. We got some requests for schools and stuff for with volunteers already next month and stuff, or things like that. So they're starting to pick up a little more. And actually, I had LifeQuest approach me, and they want to get some of their clients involved in volunteering with our program. So,
Oh, good.
Any questions? Moving on to adult nutrition.
just had a brain, I forgot to add the nutrition count.
Oh,
Under adult nutrition.
that's okay.
So in your packet is the results for nutrition through May, which is actually our end of our fiscal year. So you can see for our projection this year, we were down 6,811, but that's with all the COVID and whatnot. And then compared to last year, it's down 5,634. So our new fiscal year will start in June, and you can just kind of see how we ended up. The second meals helped out a lot. We did a total of 5,934 of those in this fiscal year, so they helped out a lot. Our dine card, we did, oh geez, I wrote it down and I wrote down a different piece of it. Anyhow, they did real well, about 2,600 there. And I did add another column into this than what I normally has. I added the the total meals served last year compared to this year. So, yeah. And then also, I was going to add in about our nutrition contracts, and I didn't, so we're going to talk about it here. Is that okay? Or should I edit?
We'd probably do it next month.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do it next month.
gotcha. Anybody have any questions on nutrition? Next year, our projections change. I guess I can add those for our next meeting. You can see what our projections will be for the next fiscal year for nutrition. And we should have our contract by then.
Yeah.
All right, and a report on the James Valley Community Center.
Maria included a report for us. They are picking things up. They just did their first bus trip in over a year. They did an in-town bus trip, which was really fun. They had good turnout for that. Did you go on that one, Sharon?
No.
Nope, okay.
I didn't. It was a day I couldn't.
Okay. They had just a new member meet and greet yesterday,
Yeah.
and they had 4 people come to that. There's lots of activities coming up and that they're doing. Bingo is doing well, back up and running. The Thursday nights are working great.
Can I back up to nutrition for a minute? I have a question. Our numbers have been really down lately, like for participants with COVID, you know, but at the James Valley Community Center. Does anybody have any suggestions? How maybe we could get more participants to come in?
For lunch?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we have to make it known that you're back open for business, a regular deal. I mean, I'm sure some people are wondering, I wonder. I'm not going to go find out. I'm not going to go,
Right.
I'll go somewhere else for lunch that I know. I'm just thinking that a lot of people are, we're closed for so long, they don't know that it's business as usual. So somehow we have to get the word out through radio, newspaper, more than, because I don't know, if I was going to go for lunch at the James Valley Community Center, I'm not going to take time to look at the internet, go to the city website, find out if they're open or not. We have to get the word out again. Postcard to members, postcard to people that you use. Somehow, we have to get the word out.
Postcards. I like that
I guess
idea.
my thing would be the menu itself. It's the same thing month after month after month. Is there any reason it can't be changed? Try different stuff. But,
You can talk.
I mean, it's been the same thing for.
Right, it's the same kind of menus,
Yeah.
but what other different things would you add?
Yeah.
When you look at every site, every other town, I mean, that's how they do it. It's like a 4 or
The same
5
thing
week
every month.
rotation.
Yeah.
I mean, he only serves that one meal once out of that 4.5 weeks. I mean, it's kind of hard to get,
Yeah.
5 weeks of a different meal every single time. And like, take today, it's turkey, mashed potatoes, the whole fixings. It's always been a good meal. We have 6 down there. I mean, it's not always the meal. I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't either.
So, but the other sites
The other sites
are
doing
good.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Those people don't have to go out.
great.
Right.
So, I
How
don't
can we
know.
get people to come out and come?
I don't know. Part of it right now is the heat.
Right?
But they
Some
are
of those-
going to Colburns and County Fair.
Yes.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So I think it's like John says. I don't know how to get it.
Our dine card is doing well. Our second meals, they still come out and get second meals. It's just coming to the community center.
Interesting.
Yeah, on the dine card, they could use either place, right?
Right.
I
Do you
mean,
think
either
COVID
those-
is still a fear?
I haven't seen it as much of a fear anymore.
What?
COVID, I don't think it's much of a fear anymore at the community center.
No,
No.
that's not it. I'm pretty sure that's not
Yeah.
it.
I mean, we can work on trying to change the menu, but we already do, like I said, almost 4.5 weeks of a different item during the month. We never usually duplicate any meal.
I like the idea of the postcards and the advertisement.
Yeah.
How many did you used to do on a regular basis, would you say?
Well,
When I started, it was like 40.
yeah, I mean, heck, when I started, it was like 70 a day daily at the community center, and it's kind of slowly gone down. But yeah, I'd say pre-COVID, you probably got 30,
Yeah,
20
to 30.
25 to 30,
And that was same people?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
you saw repeatedly?
And
Yes.
a lot of them passed.
which we did have quite a few of them pass with COVID and different items this last year, but
True.
And then getting new people to come, I think, is where you really are, where it's needed.
Right.
So,
And it was kind of in their routines before COVID?
Yes.
And then
Yep.
COVID takes you out of kind of your old routines, and so I like the idea of sending postcards to people that that you serve, put it in the back of their mind.
maybe a good article in the paper with some pictures and, talking about the fellowship, all of that type of thing. If we could do a little more human interest story, that might, and I know they don't get a paper every day,
Right.
but that sometimes spreads the word better.
And we also changed our time for lunch, too. We used
Right?
to have it from 11 till 1, I think it was.
It still is.
And now it's,
It's 11 to 1.
no,
You can eat at 11 or you can eat at 12.
Yeah.
but you got to be out of there within a half an hour.
Nope.
And they say-
No.
Nope.
No. See, all of those things need to be clarified.
Yeah, because
That might help.
that's what they were doing.
Yeah, that was with our COVID rules.
Yeah.
But our COVID rules are gone
I
now.
wonder if people still don't think.
Yeah, they can show up anytime between 11 and 1.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, there's some misinformation or lack of information. If our board members don't know
Right.
when it's happening, we've got a problem.
Yeah. This
Do you
probably-
have anything going on during the meal that could be like a drawing card? Like if you
Yeah.
had something that when you're doing the article, you could say on this date, we're having, I don't know what it would be, some type of entertainment or something.
Which we do.
Program.
Yeah, they do have some of the programs
Okay.
during the
Yeah.
meal.
Okay.
And that does draw people in.
Yesterday, we had
Yeah.
The Sound of Music at 11:05. I still only had 7 people for lunch.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
See, I know I used to go at noon, well, then I tried during the COVID, or when we looked at the restrictions, at 12. It'd be either myself only, or myself and one other person. Most of them would come at 11.
Most of them do come at 11. Today, we have 2 that are eating in. They're both at 11. The rest are takeouts.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Well, that makes it harder for Maria to do programs, if you've only got 2
Yeah,
people going to show up.
Yeah, nobody could attend.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay. We need a real push.
It's somebody's birthday, so she's getting birthday calls, I bet.
Hour off. Does that mean off?
Any other discussion on the community center report? As I understand, this is the last meeting for some board members.
Yeah.
Next meeting, we will have hopefully all of the board members here, the new ones included, to elect new officers for the year.
So thank you, Sharon and Louise, for your time. You put many, many years on.
You could still come and be a citizens input.
I told them, I said that.
Okay,
I said that.
thank you. It was a
you.
privilege to serve.
Yes, it was, very much so. Enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. Our next meeting is on July 8th, 10 a.m., right here. Don't be late.
Like today.
No, we started early. Well, thank you all. We're adjourned.
Thank you.